Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Bayonetta 3 again. I can't believe we've done 3 videos on Bayonetta 3 in the last 2 weeks, but this whole situation with voice actress, the original Bayonetta voice actress, Hellena Taylor, just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. So just to recap what has happened so far. Hellena Taylor came out and said that she was offered an insultingly low pay rate
For the final offer.
The final offer to reprise her role as Bayonetta in Bayonetta 3.
For $4,000.
$4,000 US total. All right. So people, including us, were kind of like, man, that sucks. That's really low, especially for a lead character in a video game that's highly anticipated.
Plus, she also told people to boycott it.
And she told people to boycott it, right. Then she went into something about, England and poverty and whatever, which really has nothing to do with Bayonetta, but I digress. So then we had video game journalist Jason Schreier put out a piece on, I think it was Bloomberg. He writes for Bloomberg now. And he said that no, he looked into it, and actually there were multiple offers. She was offered considerably more money than what she let on. It was actually $3,000 or $4,000 per session. She was offered multiple sessions, and that she was lying.
And then when they did replace her with another actress because she turned it down, they still offered her was it $4,000 cameo?
Like a cameo, yeah.
And then she turned that down. So the final offer being $4,000 was true, but you forgot to include the other part.
From a certain point of view, it was true. Yes. So now she is trying to defend her honor. Jason Schreier is out there on Twitter
trying to defend his honor.
Defending his honor.
Honors are being defended.
And at the end of the day, a lot of people, the attitude I'm seeing is I'm still going to buy Bayonetta 3, but I'm going to put it on Japanese audio, and the hell with it all.
That's what they're saying.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I'll just read the subtitles and the hell with it. So we're going to talk about this latest update. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 277,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We've been kind of following the Bayonetta situation because, again, we thought, when she came out and said that she was only offered $4,000 for the lead.
We're like, that's crap.
That's pretty crap. We've paid people, pretty decently for unused audio. And to have somebody of her, caliber, get offered that.
Well, she'll tell you all about her caliber.
Well, yeah, there's that too. That's kind of come out too. And then other people have been asking questions like, well, is this why she hasn't had any notable roles in the last, decade? Because she's difficult. Yeah. So anyway, I guess we'll talk about Jason Schreier first, retweeting her. Former Bayonetta voice actor Hellena Taylor now confirms my reporting that she was offered at least $15,000, and that the final offer was for a cameo, despite the claims in the video that went viral last week.
Because I remember when we looked at what the guy from Japan, Hideki Kamiya, was saying about that wasn't true, and then somebody else had broke it down and said it was this much per session, and then they said that the $4,000 was the cameo, and I said in that video, I'm like, oh, was that the final offer she was alluding to? Because the final offer was $4,000 for a cameo, but that wasn't in context, and we said that.
Yeah.
And now apparently that's being
this is kind of like Pawn Stars,
Yeah.
It's my final offer.
It's worth $5,000. How much you want for it? Well, $5,000. I'll give you $4,000. No, actually, I'll give you $2,500 for it.
Yeah. And then we've seen, that they'll bring in the experts, and then the offer goes down or goes up, depending. Anyway, this is what she said. This is what Shire was responding to. It's come to my attention that some people are calling me a liar and a gold digger. I feel the need to defend myself and my reputation in the industry. See thread. Thread incoming. As I posted on part 3 of my video thread, I explained that the first offer was too low. That offer was $10,000 total. Okay, well, that's not what she said. Remember, this is a $450 million franchise. Ashley Schreier points out that no, Bayonetta is, it does have a cult following, but it's
nowhere near that.
It's not Pokemon, okay? Then I wrote in Japanese to Hideki Kamiya asking for what I was worth. I thought as a creative, he would understand. He replied saying how much he valued my contribution to the game and how much the fans wanted me to voice the game. I was then offered an extra $5,000. So yeah,
$15,000.
Okay, that's not terrible for what is probably less than a week's worth of work. It's not terrible. So I declined to voice the game. Then I heard nothing from them for 11 months because they were finding your replacement.
Right.
Then they offered me a flat fee to voice some lines for $4,000. Any other lines, any other lies such as 4,000 for 5 sessions are total fabrications. There were not extensive negotiations. I've also been informed of ridiculous fictions, such as I asked for $250,000. I am a team player. I was asking for a fair living wage in line with the value I bring to this game.
But they're not saying what she was asking for.
Right. I was paid a shockingly low total of £3,000 for the first game, a little more for the second. Now, the game was unknown back then, really. And that was years ago. And, it has increased in stature, but again, it's not exactly a AAA series. It's kind of a niche thing. I wanted to voice her. I have drummed up interest in this game ever since I started on Twitter in 2011. So who's ready to play the shit out of Bayonetta 3? It's not going the way that she was hoping. First red flag was when you demanded a boycott. I thought that was weird. But I'm like, whatever. Second red flag is when you said
that was weird too.
Yeah, the other VA cannot claim to be Bayonetta, and that would be Jennifer Hale, who's actually been kind of a class act in this.
I thought that was really crappy too, because a lot of characters have voice actors that are switched, because some people go off to their projects or whatever, and they're both are acceptably listed as that character. You don't usually hear the voice actor saying, "Well, you're not, because I said so. I'm that character."
Right. Well, it's not your character. I mean, that's the thing. It's not your character, and you can have a preference for which voice actor you prefer. I mean, look at the situation with Sonic the Hedgehog. How many effing Sonics have we had in the last 10, 15 years? And a lot of times these guys get gone. They don't even know they're fired.
Right. Sadly, it's the way it goes. Your defense against people calling you a liar is admitting you greatly misrepresented the situation.
Yeah, it's like, technically I didn't lie. I just didn't give you all the information. Post proof. Otherwise, I see no reason to believe it.
But we're not for hearing what she was asking for.
No.
Like, okay, if you didn't think you were asking for too much, what were you asking for? Like, I don't believe she was asking for $250,000, but what was she asking for? That's what I want to know. Like, what living wage? What's that mean?
Define that, because that differs greatly from country to country and person to person, depending on your situation. And here's the thing: I do believe that voice actors should be paid fairly. I do believe that in a lot of industries, voice talent is underappreciated. I think that, people get screwed. Again, back to Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the gentleman that played Frylock got massively screwed given how long the show was on the air and the DVD sales and all that stuff. In this case, she's basically working for like a week and she wants like a year's salary.
Right. This isn't like a show where you're constantly having to do more lines. You said you're being paid $4,000. You made it seem like that was all you were getting. Now you're saying it's 10. Actually, no. She said it was 15.
15.
Because she said it was 10 initially, and then they offered her another 5,000 because to try to be nicer. Didn't have to. Gave it a 50% increase. Didn't have to.
Wow, this is pretty scathing. You're an embarrassment. I support voice actors that they should have a right to be paid more, but you've caused irreparable damage to the movement. Unforgivable. So where's her agent in this? Because normally, voice actors do not directly interface with the directors or producers or whatever of the project. They have an agent that they go through. The agent does the negotiation. Why? And I know a lot of voice actors, even if they're just doing video games or whatever, they have agents. Why is she writing people directly? That should be something that goes between her and her agent, and then the agent.
Unless she's representing herself, because she was already known for, or she was already doing the game, so she's representing herself. So she has to give anybody else a cut.
I thought you were going in a different direction. Like, unless she's representing herself because she's a known troublemaker,
no,
and nobody wants to represent her.
I was going to say because she wasn't getting that much money and she didn't want to give an agent a cut.
I mean, they do take a cut, but a lot of times, they will make sure that the cut they take doesn't affect your take home.
And then they make sure you get paid.
Yeah. If they take a 10% cut, they get you an extra 20% or whatever.
I love this Sly McFreak. Well, to be fair, it makes sense when you don't think about it.
now people are really dogpiling on her.
Sorry, that was funny.
It's become clear why Bayonetta is the only gig you've had over the past decade. So, I mean, look, people are really piling on top of her.
I mean,
but they feel manipulated too.
Right, because, people went to her defense because they think voice actors should be paid fairly. And then it turned out that she didn't lie in the facts. And she said that was the final offer. That technically is true from a certain point of view. But she neglected to mention the other stuff prior to that. So, like I said, I do wonder what she was thinking she should be paid for this.
I don't know.
You don't hear any of that.
No, and the thing is, again, back to, if she had an agent, none of this would be made public because I don't think it would be allowed to be made public. So, I don't know. I mean, this is quite the mess here. But Jason Schreier actually answers people, and he, and this is why I was so surprised, because usually he is, I would say, more left leaning, and he would be more sympathetic to, her situation.
But he wasn't sympathetic. He probably wouldn't looked into it, and he was probably like, wait. He might have been initially.
That has happened to me on occasions. I mean, I've had a couple of instances where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go find some supporting evidence to back up my preconceived notion of what's going on. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's whoopsie-dupsie. That's not
and then
what
I'm
happened.
like, look, when you look into it, you find out, wait a minute, that's not really what happened. But okay.
So let's go back to what Schreier says, because obviously she's talking about him. Now I'm waiting for the next thing. Like, I'm going to sue Bloomberg and Jason Schreier for what?
$250,000.
For $250 for a living wage. I'm going to sue Jason Schreier for a living wage.
Of course, we don't know any of this. It's just speculation and a joke.
All right. God, can we still joke? Are we allowed to joke?
No, I don't know.
Jason Schreier. I've seen a number of people, including respected industry pundits and professionals who loudly supported the original video, suggest that the story is murky or that they should wait to hear both sides. Hopefully now they'll find it a little clearer. That's kind of where we were at.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, and I was like, if that is the case, it's garbage. Then the other shoe dropped, and now we've got a third shoe. I don't know where they've been hiding that one, but here we go. There are also some who went after me over the last week for siding with capital over labor. First of all, my job is to side with the truth.
Well, that's refreshing.
That's refreshing. Secondly, consider the labor that was harmed here. Developers, localizers, and other voice actors. Getting the truth out helps them all. So that's what was actually murky was, hey, I'm really disappointed that we couldn't make it work out financially, and I'm actually kind of angry about it. But boycott the game so everybody else gets fucked too.
And if it was true, it was like, wow, we said, if true, that's really, really shit, $4,000. But yeah, the boycotting thing was a little bit like, okay, and why come out now? Oh, because the game's coming out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because people are going to be looking for it. They're going to be looking for Bayonetta 3. It is highly anticipated, This guy's like, I have no idea. This is true. I have no idea where the $450 million figure comes from. From what I know, Bayonetta has always been a niche franchise. It seems like she purposely hid or misrepresented some details to gain the sympathy of fans. Happy to be proven wrong. Great reporting. Jason, $450 million is a fictional and frankly absurd figure. When you math it out, the number of copies. Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, I'm thinking she probably would have a pretty good indication of what it's sold, right? I mean, this is like her thing. And it's like, no, there's no way you math it out. It's like, given the number of copies it's sold over the years, and I don't see people rocking Bayonetta 3 t-shirt or Bayonetta shirts, very often. So the way she presented her case was wrong, but I hope the conversation surrounding VAPA continues.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. I mean, if it turned out that what she was saying was entirely accurate, and that basically, because I was under the impression it was like, well, they offered her like $2,000, and she's like, hell no, and then they came back with $4,000, and she's like, nah, can't do it. But in reality, she was offered substantially more. Mm-hmm. I mean, almost 4 times what she claimed and what people understood to be the truth, and she didn't really correct people on that either. People were running with, she was only offered $4,000. And that just wasn't the case. It might have been the final offer for a cameo, but to voice the whole game, she was offered a lot
This
more.
one person, it helped start this conversation. Anybody who thinks that $15,000 is a lot of money has never had to take care of children or own their own home. I make $15,000 in 2 months, not to brag, although I say it. But saying it doesn't equal a lot, depending where you live, too. It depends on where you live, but the difference is you make that a month of working a job a month. This is like a one time you come in a gig and it's like a couple sessions and you're done. It's not like a monthly job that you have to go to.
Right, and you got to look at the other costs too. Like, game development's not cheap. I mean, this game is probably not going to be nearly as expensive as, like a AAA title or anything. But still, looking for residuals, like when the game makes a profit, and it could take a while for the game to actually make its money back. I mean, these developers sink in millions and millions of dollars into a game, hoping that it'll recoup its money over the course of several years. And a lot of times that's why you get. They'll start out full price and then they'll discount the game, and then the game, gets, thrown on to different services, and then they do like, remastered versions of them. Right. They're just trying to claw back that money.
That money they invested. Yeah. So it was like, it's going to be $10,000 for 10,000. Yeah. For 12 to 16 hours and 15,000 for the same 12 to 16 hours. So yeah, it was, like I'm saying, it's not like a whole month's worth of work. It's not, like I make that, in 2 months. Because you work you go to work every day or most of the week.
Yeah. So I would like to know, I mean, how does that compare to what the developers who are probably, putting in crunch, how does that compare to what they're getting paid? I mean, look, again, if that was the offer for the entire game, and we said before in the first video we did, we're like, that is insultingly low given the high profile nature of the gig. But it turns out that was not
true. If that was the truth, and based on what we saw, that would, that was low. But yeah. And then like, oh no, that's not what happened. But then later admits that's pretty much what happened. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I like this one. You haven't provided any evidence, so your reporting is nothing but hearsay. Well, I reported that she was offered at least $15,000, and she just tweeted that she was offered at least $15,000. We get this all the damn time. We get this. Clownfish said, it's like, no, actually, if you go back and watch the video, because a lot of people, they reply to the videos before they even would have had the chance to watch the video, and they say that we say things that we didn't actually say. It's like, no, if you actually watch the video.
Or somehow we invent all the news, too.
We invent the news.
We will go from a source and talk about it, and then somehow that we're the ones who invented it.
Yeah, so anyway, we're going to wrap this one up. I don't know what else to say about this. I'm sure this is probably going to go on for a while, but I think it's pretty open and shut at this point. I mean, she basically admitted publicly that she was offered a lot more than she led people to believe. So it is what it is, guys. Going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.